Bioenergy Hub. Today's webinar, you've just had a message up telling you that today's webinar will be recorded. So we're recording and transcribing the main webinar. We will then stop for question and answers near the end. And at that point, we will switch off the recording to allow people freedom in their questioning. But today is all about the Supergen Bioenergy Hub's new Business Interaction Vouchers. There has been a previous presentation on these, which was trailed at our our researchers meeting earlier this year, but they have now gone live on the website, and we will be giving you the QR code or the link where you can reach them near the end of the webinar. But the Business Interaction Vouchers, what are they all about? Okay, so the hub is funded by UKRI, both BBSRC and EPSRC, in order to carry out research, but also to deliver impact. Part of that impact involves working very closely with industrial organisations or other non-academic groups. And we have, as part of that, some flexible funding. Normally, the flexible funding is given out in competitions where we ask people to bring forward proposals for bits of research work. But this is being done a little bit differently this time. Our experience of working with a variety of people in the hub is that there are lots of conversations that never quite get started. And there are lots of opportunities where academics meet industrialists and vice versa, where they talk about something, but they just don't have enough to get things going. So that's what this is all about. It's about starting conversations. It's about having early stage interactions between academia and non-academic partners in order to deliver impact. So we are looking primarily for new collaborations rather than ones that you have had in existence for a long period of time. It must be with an academic and a non-academic, and we're willing to be quite flexible about the definition of non-academic, but we hope that it's not spin-out companies from the same university. That wouldn't be exactly what this was in mind for. It's all about accelerating sustainable bioenergy, but also bioproducts. So there is an energy focus, but products are equally welcome. And the value that we are giving out is quite small by hub standards. It is £15,000 per voucher. Anybody who works in academia knows that doesn't buy you a huge amount of academic time. And that's why what we really want here is for this to cover research costs rather than the time of professors. So this is primarily going to be for covering testing and things, which I'll come on to in a moment. But it's really important that the application is ideally submitted by the non-academic partner. So the business, the organisation who is benefiting from this should put the application in, and it's about the cost of collaborating with the university. Now, for some of you, that might be that you'd love to have some lab tests done, some analysis, some characterisation. And so there it can cover the cost of consumables for technicians in the lab to do things. It can cover researcher time, and we're especially keen on this covering researcher time where it is postdoctoral research assistants. The reason I say that is we don't want these projects to go on for a very long time. So we don't want you to be recruiting people specifically for the purpose. But if you have some researchers who are able to free up enough time to do this in a university, then that's just perfect. That's what this is for. It's a small side project that you could do that fits in alongside your main commitments. So we can cover consumable costs, we can cover researcher time, and I think we could probably stretch that to covering the cost of the time of dedicated specialist technical staff. But we don't want this to be covering the investigators, so that is the academic staff. And universities will be able to, well, universities know what we mean by this when we refer to directly allocated costs. Okay, next slide. So We're going to try and keep the assessment of these applications really simple. We hope we've created a really simple form for you, and we will be looking to say, is this in scope? That means, is it about bioenergy or a bioproduct? Really simple. Is the cost eligible? So are these costs that are being incurred at a UK university, and are they at least mostly directly incurred costs? What's the impact? Have you told us how this idea of yours or this thing that you want to investigate could lead to some form of impact? I don't mind if that impact is economic, industrial, societal, environmental, social, whatever. It's got to lead to impact. You won't get the impact from the £15,000, but it's got to be something that is moving you towards that. Deliverability. Is it credible that you're going to actually achieve and finish what you've done in the timescale that you have and with the £15,000? So we don't want something that is patently too big for what you're trying to do or requires specialist equipment that you do not have. Have you justified non-academic interest? And this is the key bit. Have you provided us with some evidence that there is someone who isn't an academic, who is interested in this, who wants it to happen? You can do that as a letter of support, or you can do that as a quotation or a statement, or give us the contact details of the relevant people. That's required on the form anyway. So those are the things that we will be assessing. Okay, and just as a reminder in terms of scope, the Supergen Hub divides things into incubation, so we can be focused on a particular technology here. You might have a challenge with a technology that you are developing where you would like some input from academics, and that's what sits on the left-hand side here. Or you might be looking at wider issues, perhaps at the sustainability of feedstocks, perhaps at the properties of chemicals that you are producing, perhaps at verifying the land use or other environmental impacts of your activities. And those are our diffusion projects where we're producing common knowledge that needs to be diffused into the wider community to be of use. It could be focused on policy regimes. It could be focused on understanding new markets. It could be focused on public acceptability. So particularly it might be looking at what the response of sections of the public would be to certain products, to certain energy systems, or it could be focused on the regulation and standards and compliance therewith. All of this is within scope for Supergen. The little ovals that you can see in here are our existing projects, but they are examples. So there are plenty of other things that have been funded since as flexible funded projects, and there are other things that I'm sure you are thinking of today. Okay, so timescale. We're launching, well, we launched a week ago on the 15th of July. That was when all the documentation went live on the website. And you can start writing your proposal now, and you can submit it to us from the 1st of September onwards. There will be a closing date, that's the 31st of October, but we are going to start reviewing these as soon as they come in, really. So please do submit as soon as you can, and not later than the 31st of October. Our aim is to get all the proposals that we receive reviewed by the 21st of November, because we have a project management group meeting that week when we will make final decisions on these things, and your offer letter will come out before Christmas. It will be your early Christmas present. We will then require you to give us a New Year present by confirming your acceptance by the 9th of January. And you will then be able to start your project pretty much as soon as is practical after that. The hub ends in 2027, and we want these to be things which are going to lead to other things. So we do want them to be still running in 2027. So the latest project completion date that we will allow for this is 31st of May 2026. There is very little that costs £15,000 that you cannot complete by the end of May in this time scale. So please think about the timescale and just try and get these done as quickly as you can. Okay, so the link here to the call document and the QR code will take you to all that you need to do in order to apply. We hope that it's a really simple application form for you. And that's all that we have to say on it. We did widely trail this beforehand, so none of what we've said should be particularly new to you, except the very exciting link to the actual application form. So happy to answer any questions, because I realise people will have been formulating individual ideas. If you have any questions, could you put them in the chat, please?